Right, so hello, welcome back to the channel. And before we move on, yes, I know I'm extremely sunburned. It is terrible. But enough about that, because you've not clicked on here to talk about that. You've clicked here because I've said that Scotland are going to win Euro 2024. We will! I mean, I would genuinely take Scotland over the majority of European nations at the minute. And if you don't believe me, just look at some of the teams that are on offer. Just off the top of my head, I think of the likes of Spain, who are, yes, in our group. And we beat them really well. I know it's a home game, but this is the worst Spanish side I've seen in my entire lifetime. I don't care that they just won the Nations League. It's not a great team. Then you have the likes of Holland under Ronald Koeman, who are awful. They really are just terrible. Italy, who are still an inconsistent mess. Alongside that, so are Germany as well. There's no standouts in these teams. Then you look at the teams who have been decent in the past few years, the likes of Croatia, Wales, Belgium. They're on their way out. They've not got any young talent really coming through. Croatia obviously have Gvardiol, but there's no one coming through the ranks in these countries, so they're all gone. And the only European teams who I would say are better than Scotland at this current moment of time are France, Portugal, and England. And that's it. When you look at the group that Scotland are in as well, we're topped by a country mile. 12 points out of 12, 4 wins out of 4, which has never happened in the history of Scottish football in any campaign ever. And you can even add the other team's points up, and it still isn't as many points as what we've got. We've got 12, they've got 11 combined. It's mental. I mean, look, we're not even qualified yet. We've only played half the campaign, but realistically, one more win, and we're probably going to be there. 2 wins mathematically puts us there with the likes of Haaland and Norway and Kvaratskhelia and Georgia. They can only get a maximum of about 15, 17 points. So mathematically, 2 more wins and we're okay. But I still just think 1 win, and that'll be good enough. So let's look at the games that we've played in the qualifiers so far. I mean, you start off the campaign fairly routine. 3-0 home win against Cyprus, 2 late McTominay goals, and the game, it was made out to be a lot more difficult than what it was. Then the Spain game, it's one of the best matches I've ever seen. And we were so dominant over them that Champions League winning Rodri, he's still crying to this day about the length of the grass. Then you have the next 2 games, away in Norway. I mean, I made a video about it. I said we would win 3-1, but I would take a point. And out of everyone, I'm pretty sure every Scottish fan would have taken a point there. And we stole all 3 of them. All thanks to big Lyndon Dykes and Kenny McLean. Who'd have thought that? And the Georgia game that happened on Wednesday. It was madness, really. I mean, most people know that Scotland, it's not really known for its great weather, hence the sunburn. I was not prepared, but it had torrential downpour in Glasgow on the day. And because the weather was so good for 2-3 weeks before then, it just kind of sat, the water level just kind of sat on the ground at Hampden. And the game, it looked like it was more a game of water polo than football. I just remember Aaron Hickey was running with the ball at one point. He skipped past 2 or 3 Georgian players, and then he ran. The ball wasn't there anymore. It was still by the 2-3 Georgian players that he just went past. It was a weird one. Then McGinn whips in a ball. It falls out to Callum McGregor, who lashes it like the rain that was coming down into the back of the net. And Scotland go mental. The official then goes running down to the tunnel, and it looks like he was almost going to go for a VAR, but he was talking to an official who then tells the ref that the game needs to be suspended. And that's when all the pandemonium broke loose. I mean, cheesy peeps. The game was suspended for like 100 odd minutes, and fair play to the ground staff, because the job that they were putting in to make sure that this game went ahead was unbelievable. The amount of water that they put off the pitch, it was phenomenal. They had about 4 or 5 pitch inspections. The crowd, every time the ball would get ran on the pitch, going, "Hoorays!" And they were loving it. They were playing Travis, "Why Does It Always Rain on Me?" with the fans singing along. And they really got into it. It was just great from the crowd, really, as well. And as the Scotland team came out, warmed up, the Georgian players just stayed in the changing room, hoping and praying that the game would just get suspended and that they could just restart at 0-0. Get out! Get out of the changing room! This then led to McTominay and McGregor saying that they would fly all the way over to Georgia if they wanted, just to play the rest of the game. I mean, I love this team to pieces, man. Eventually they came out, they finished the first half, which was by no means a classic. Then the second half starts, and it's that man again, Scott McTominay, with his 5th goal in 4 games in the European qualifiers. It puts him up there with the likes of Ronaldo and Kane as the top goal scorers in the competition. Just unbelievable. Then the rest of the game was kind of like a training match. I mean, Georgia didn't really offer anything going forward. Scotland, maybe not as much as well. And Kvaratskhelia, he missed another penalty. So, by no means a classic, but another win for the Tartan Army. After the game, the Georgian manager was just coming out with as many excuses as he could think of. He was so rattled by the fact that he's lost to Scotland. And he was saying that the team didn't eat properly before the game, the players were cold before they came out to the pitch. Whose fault is that? That's your fault. That is your team's fault. Why aren't you eating properly before a massive game for you guys, where if you win, you go 2 points behind us and it leaves the group wide open. Then for the warm-up, you know you're going to have to come out and play. You just didn't want to do it, and you sat in the changing room and sulked, and you got exactly what you deserved. 0 points. That's now the entire nation of Georgia, Odegaard and Norway, and Spain and Rodri that we've completely rattled. So, well done to Steve Clarke and his troops on the pitch. Absolutely the best manager that I have seen for Scotland in my lifetime, since 1998 basically. And make no mistake about it, the success that Scotland are currently having, the way that we're playing, the results that we're getting, it's all because of Steve Clarke and his wonderful staff that he's got around there. He's got the place believing that we can qualify and do something at a major tournament. And I'm certainly buying into the hype as well. The whole team, they just complement each other to a T. You've got Robbo and Tierney on the left-hand side. One goes forward, one stays back, and they alternate between the two as well. It's brilliant. Hickey on the right-hand side with Patterson as an understudy is brilliant squad depth for the future, with Hickey obviously being able to play on the left-hand side as well when the likes of Robbo get a bit too old. Then you've got Porteous, Suter, Hendry, Hanley, all solid options at the back as well. And Angus Gunn, he's done a tremendous job in replacing the injured Craig Gordon. The midfield as well, probably the strongest area of the team. The likes of McGregor, the likes of McTominay, as well as Gilmore. You've pushed McGinn a bit more up. Then you've got Christie, Dykes, Adams, and Shankland and Nesbitt on the bench as well. It's amazing the fact we have so much squad depth when we never realistically have. And two names that I've just shouted out, but I want to put more emphasis on. Billy Gilmore, he's like a Scottish Pirlo. He dictates the play of the game. He sits back in that quarterback role and he just absolutely dictates the tempo, picks out the right passes. He's tenacious in his tackling, puts himself about, knows he's not the biggest, but he uses his brain more than anyone else in the team. And then you've got Lyndon Dykes. He's not everyone's flavour of the month, but my God, do I love him. He's just brilliant. His hold-up play is fantastic, his energy is great, and he's an old-fashioned target centre forward who we just need. He just brings everyone into the game with his hold-up play, and he just relaxes the team as well when the ball just needs to get hoofed up the pitch sometimes. And all in all, Scotland deserve it. We deserve this after so many years of failure and terrible performances, terrible teams, terrible managers, terrible players. We deserve this because the fans have been brilliant throughout as well, and you need Scotland at the Euros to create a proper atmosphere. And I cannot wait until June, July rolls around next year, where I will be putting on suntan lotion, hopefully not burning, and I'll be watching Andy Robertson lift up the Euros trophy. It's gonna happen! Now let me know what you think of Scotland's chances at next year's Euros in the comments below. I mean, it's inevitable that we win it, right? Right? Also, do not forget, if you like the video, give it a like, funnily enough. Give it a share around and subscribe as well. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers.